It's July 4th. Happy birthday, America. I hope today is a great day of celebration for you and your family. Hey, did you ever think that the year 1776 and the events of today's reading have anything in common? Well, stick around with me today, and you might be surprised. Revolution. It's one of those words that grabs our attention. It conveys the idea of a people rising up to correct a wrong or to replace a tyrannical leader or some kind of injustice. When it happens, history is replete with examples of where the governed reach a point of enough is enough, as was the case in the American Revolution. Most revolutions and administrations of justice against tyrannical leaders, they seldom end without bloodshed. And today's reading is no exception. In 2 Kings chapter 9 through 11, it's kind of akin to a spiritual house cleaning. These chapters are a display of divine judgment, political intrigue, and massive upheaval of the kingdoms of Israel and Judah. God appoints one man on a mission to remove the last remnants of Ahab and to turn the hearts of the people back towards himself. These acts do spark a revolution of sorts in both the north and the southern kingdoms. While a lot happens, there's an overreaching theme that ties all this together. God will execute his justice. In chapter 9, Elisha sends one of his young prophets to anoint Jehu, a military commander, as king over Israel. His instructions are clear. Jehu is to utterly destroy the house of Ahab. Why? Because of the rampant idolatry and the shedding of innocent blood by Jezabel, and the wickedness that has corrupted the nation. This isn't just a political coup. It's a divine judgment being unleashed. Jehu wastes no time. The first target, Joram, the king of Israel, who's being visited by Ahaziah, the king of Judah. Now, as Joram tries to flee, Jehu shoots an arrow through him, fulfilling the prophecy about judgment on Ahab's house. Ahaziah, he attempts to flee also, but he's struck down as well. And then comes the iconic moment with Jezebel. As Jehu enters Jezreel, Jezebel, ever defiant, challenges him from the window. Jehu calls to her eunuchs to throw her down, and they do. Her body is trampled by the horses in the street. And later on, when they go to bury her, the dogs have consumed her. All of her body is gone except her skull, her feet, and the palms of her hands. That's all that remains, just as Elijah had prophesied. Well, God's patience has run out with the house of Ahab. This is a brutal and divinely ordained purge. Jehu is God's instrument for this judgment, specifically against the pervasive Baal worship introduced by Ahab and Jezebel. Now, I think there's an important note to insert here. Although Jehu was divinely appointed to bring about this judgment on Ahab's house, God never spells out how Jehu is to bring it about. The judgment is from God. The brutality, the murders, the methods of execution, that's all on Jehu. In chapter 10, we see Jehu's ruthless purge continuing. He sends letters to Samaria challenging all the city leaders to choose one of Ahab's sons so that they can put him on the throne. But instead, they send him all the heads of all of Ahab's 70 sons. Jehu has them piled up at the city gates as a stark symbol of the end of Ahab's dynasty. He then encounters some relatives of Ahaziah, the king of Judah, on their way to visit the royal family in Samaria. These 42 men, they were also slain because of their connection with the wicked house of Ahab. But Jehu's most significant act, he gathers all the prophets, the priests, the worshippers of Baal, under the pretense of holding a great sacrifice in honor of Baal. Now, once they're all inside the temple, Jehu's men surround the temple and they kill every single person in there. And they smash the idols and they burn down the temple. So what's the big takeaway from chapter 10? It's Jehu's successful eradication of Baal worship from Israel. He fulfills God's commandment to destroy Ahab's house and idolatry. However, despite his obedience, Jehu himself doesn't fully turn away from the sins of Jeroboam, particularly in the matter of the golden calves at Bethel and Dan. This foreshadows that true spiritual revival goes deeper than just removing idols. Now we shift our gears more south to the southern kingdom in chapter 11. But the theme of divine justice continues, this time through a different yet equally dramatic event. Athaliah, the mother of King Ahaziah, who was killed by Jehu, well, she was a daughter of Ahab and Jezebel. And when she learned of her son's death, she takes advantage of this power vacuum and ruthlessly slaughters all the royal heirs of Judah. This is a truly horrifying act. It threatens to wipe out the line of David, through whom the Messiah is promised to come. But one infant, Joash, is miraculously saved by his aunt Jehosheba, who hides him in the temple for 6 years. During those 6 years, Jehoiada the priest, a man of incredible courage and faithfulness, well, he prepares a coup. In the 7th year, he brings out Joash and proclaims him to be king, and he garners the support of the military. This is similar to our own country's history, rising up to cast off the rule of King George. And like King George, Athaliah, hearing the commotion, she comes to the temple and cries, "Treason! Treason!" But she's captured and she's executed outside the temple. Jehoiada then makes a covenant between the Lord, the king, and the people, and they all go into the temple of Baal in Judah and tear it down, smashing the altars and all the images. So what's the main theme of all 3 of these chapters together? It's God's unyielding justice against wickedness and idolatry, coupled with his unwavering commitment to preserve his covenant and his plans. In Israel, Jehu was God's blunt instrument of judgment against Ahab's house and Baal worship. In Judah, Athaliah, another offspring of that wicked lineage, she attempts to thwart God's promise by destroying the Davidic line. But God preserves a remnant, Joash, and raises him up through Jehoiada to bring justice and restore proper worship. These chapters are a reminder that no matter how entrenched evil becomes, God will execute his justice. And even when his plan seems to be on the brink of destruction, he'll always preserve a way for his purpose to be fulfilled. It's a sobering but ultimately a hope-filled message. Well, let's review the facts. God made a covenant with the people when they entered the land, saying he would be before them as long as they wouldn't go and follow after other gods. God even gave them the law to teach them and to protect them. God sent them judges, gave them kings, and even prophets, all divinely appointed to communicate his message to his people. But they wouldn't listen. He even gave them prophecies and miraculous signs to prove that he was the one and only God. It wasn't God that broke the covenant. It wasn't God that broke the law. And it wasn't God who killed the prophets. Nor was it God who caused the people not to listen. It was the corrupt, sin-filled leadership of the people that led the people away from God to serve other gods. Yes, he ordained and appointed those leaders, but it was their own sin that turned their hearts away from God. God even told them what would happen if they forsook him: captivity. That would be the end result. God's not mean or cruel or a brutal, angry killer. He is just. And here he said, enough is enough, just like our forefathers did in our nation. What stood out to you today? Share your thoughts with me in the comments below. And if you're finding these videos helpful, please don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching today, and I'll see you again on the next one.